Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Happy Being Well. We have an exciting episode today, especially with the holiday gathering, all the holiday gatherings we're going to be having this season, Christmas parties, New Year's Eve parties, Hanukkah. So I wanted to devote this episode to people to help meal prep for their holiday parties. You know, so many people have different meal preferences, and now it's a common act to call your guests in advance and ask them about their food preferences before meal prepping because everyone's got all these meal preferences now. And so today we're going to be diving deep with Nancy Lockhart, the founder of Lockhart Marketing. Nancy's a marketing consultant, and she's going to be talking about her tips and strategies on how to meal prep for holiday gatherings this season. But before we dive deep, we have a message from our sponsor, and our sponsor is happybeingwell.com, your online store for yoga leggings, crystals, 100% natural facial masks, natural deodorants, natural soaps, and much more self-care goodies at happybeingwell.com. And as always, free shipping in the USA on all items. So Nancy, we were just talking how fast the holiday season has approached us, and
Absolutely.
the meal prepping is a lot of work, figuring out, if they're vegans. There are people that do want to stay away from the carbs and the sugar, more
Right.
as people get more health conscious with each progressing year. It seems more and more people are getting more health conscious. So how do you prepare for your holiday gatherings, and what are your
Yeah. Well, so I have been eating keto for about three years now, and I started eating keto. I lost a bunch of weight. I felt much healthier, and I just wanted to stay, committed to eating. It's basically low sugar, low carbs. And it's great. I influenced my daughters at home. They started eating keto, and then they actually started embracing really their own kind of eating. So my oldest daughter is now vegetarian, and my younger daughter does eat keto with me, but my husband does not. So we have a a large variety within our family. So planning meals can sometimes, it can be a challenge, but then you layer on, all of the holiday activities and the social gatherings that we have. And, it can be somewhat of a predicament, because you're like, okay, how do I approach this? And I like to think, there's kind of three ways you can approach the holidays, and you can go full on the type of eating that you enjoy, that works for you, that keeps you healthy, and stay away from things like staying away from sugar and carbs during the holiday season can be a challenge. So you can modify that and say, okay, I'm going to do some, just allow myself a little bit of something, a little bit extra here or there. And a way to kind of counterbalance that is maybe you incorporate some fasting before you indulge, and make that kind of compromise a little bit. And then you can decide, to fully embrace the holiday season and enjoy the foods and the drinks that you enjoy. And I think the important thing with that is, if you're not going to incorporate something like a fasting prior to celebrations, that you just make it a commitment to yourself that you'll, once the holidays are over, that you'll recommit to the type of eating that you enjoy and that keeps you healthy. I think it's really important for people to recognize you always have a choice, and it's important for you to listen to your body and to do the thing that, that your gut is telling you. Your gut is telling you to do, and the approach that you take. So that would be kind of a global way to approach the holidays, I think. But with eating keto, I since I've been doing it a while, I find it really easy to, I know what's going to be, pretty much I know what's going to be keto and what's not going to be keto. And there's a ton of options as far as I'm, as I've experienced in my 3 years eating and living this way. And it's a lot of fun to prepare stuff that is, low sugar, low carbs, and bring it to a celebration. And people have no idea that they're eating something that's a lot, in my book, better for them. So, when people are asking for recipes and stuff like that, then I get to share that they're eating something that has no sugar in it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a big fan of, I don't call it keto, but it pretty much is keto. I stay away from, carbs and sugar. I personally myself love lentils, and I actually wrote on the happybeingwell.com site, plant-based plant-based recipe ebook for people to download. And I included my lentil recipe. So how I make my lentils is, sometimes I'll mix like the brown lentils with red lentils, because red lentils are a little bit lighter and the brown lentils are really more heavier. Or sometimes I just go strictly brown lentils or strictly red lentils. And I use tomato sauce. I put some hot sauce and chicken stock, garlic, onions. And I put tons of herbs, and I put a little bit of paprika, a little bit of turmeric, and a little bit of olive oil. I put about, 3 or 2 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, for additional flavoring, mixed with boiling water. And you just pour let the water boil and pour the lentils in and pour all the rest of the seasoning ingredients in them. And I just let it boil for about, I make a big pot. So I let it boil for about between, 30 to 45 minutes. And yeah, I literally love lentils. They're yummy to me, and they're super healthy. Get tons of iron, get tons of protein, and and you can eat as much as you want, and you can stay slim, and get
Well, I'm gonna have to download your ebook and share it with my daughter. So she it's interesting because when she's home, and anytime you modify your diet, I think you open the horizon to like spice and to flavors that haven't been discovered before. And just the other day I made cauliflower steaks, and I used fennel with it, and it's a spice I very rarely use, and paprika, olive oil, garlic salt, and then I just roasted them. It was so good, and my whole family, it was like, this is a different taste. My husband right away knew fennel, and he's like, you never use fennel, this is so good. But it's just like kind of doing it. It gives you it gets you out of your rut of what you're typically eating, and you get to try some new things. Some things work, some things don't work, but it's a lot of fun to just go like, okay, let's see how this goes. And I do have to say, cauliflower is so amazing. I make the best keto cauliflower soup. It is to die for, and I use the Instapot for it, and oh my god, it's just, I used to think of cauliflower in one way, and now I've completely embraced. I make potatoes with the cauliflower. I make potato salad in the summertime, and then mashed potatoes during the holiday season. And it is so good. The other thing is radishes. Radishes are yummy, 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 yummy. And they taste like, you can do scalloped potatoes with the radishes. Oh my God, it's so, so yummy. And I highly encourage people to try it. I do have recipes on my ketoandkindness.com site. So if you're interested in those recipes, please, I encourage you to go there and try it out. The color on the beets might make you feel a little bit, it may be off-putting because it's pink. Just close your eyes and taste it, because it is so good.
So that website is ketoandkindness.com.
Yep. All together, no dots, no spaces. And yeah, and /recipes. If you want to go right to the recipes, there's a ton of good yummy keto recipes. Most of them have the macros that are attached to the recipes. I will say, total disclaimer, these are based on my estimates for the macros. So don't completely hold me to it, but it is a good estimate for if you're trying to balance out what you're eating. And there's calories, there's fat, there's saturated fat, all the other stuff. But I know from a keto perspective and a lot of diets, it's really making sure you understand the ratio of those macros that are in your recipes. And it's fun. I have a lot of fun with that. And sometimes, so my cousin started doing this where she challenged me to do a Starbucks, the lemon pound cake, and to do that keto. Oh my God, it was so much fun. And I had to keep playing with it and playing with it and playing with it because it started out a little dry, but I think I've perfected it. So if you're interested in trying that, go to my website and get that recipe.
I love it. Yeah, I encourage everybody to go check out ketoandkindness.com for some delicious keto recipes. I'm going to check it out myself as well. I'm always looking for, recipes that are, non-carb, non-sugar. One thing that I love to do, I'm really, truly a lentil lover. I even make lentil bread. And so I'm getting that, that kind of that similar texture of bread, but it's not bread. There's no gluten and there's no, you're not going to get fat by eating it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I make lentil bread. I just get the blender, get the lentils, like just raw lentils, and mix it with water in the blender and some baking soda. And I put in, now it depends on your flavor, how you want to add in the flavor of your lentil bread, but I personally use the garlic and I put in some herbs too. And sometimes I put a little bit of sauce as well to give it that tomato sauce flavoring with the bread. You just got to be careful. You don't put too much water because you don't want it to be too watery either.
Yeah.
Because you want it to have a nice, bread-like texture when you put it in the oven. So I whip it up. I batter it up in the blender, and then I put it in the oven, and it bakes and it turns into bread.
It sounds amazing. I think from a keto perspective, because lentils are a little bit off, but if you use the almond flours, you can make some nice almond or coconut flour as well from a keto version of different types of breads is a nice option. But that lentil, it sounds so good and so much fiber. I'm sure it's got to be so good for you.
Yeah. It is. It's so good and it's so yummy. And I mix it up. I make my hummus. And so I dip the lentil bread into hummus, right? To give it that yummy, delicious flavor. So I love making my own hummus as well. I put the chickpeas in the blender, mix it with some water. Again, garnishing it with my preferences, garlic and herbs and some tomato paste. Yeah, and it turns out delicious. I actually prefer making my own hummus because I don't know, personally, it tastes better than the ones you buy at the store. I think because there's no
right.
It's just
yeah.
fresh. And so when I mix it with the lentil bread, it's just perfect and yummy. And I am totally like, you can eat as much as you want. Again, it's not going to hurt your hips or your belly. And it tastes yummy. So it's I literally probably should just make a book with the magic of lentils and make a whole.
You should. That would be really. Oh my gosh, my mouth is completely watering right now. I think one thing with the holidays too is just kind of what is the etiquette? You mentioned when we first started, like letting a hostess know if you're going somewhere, like what your dietary restrictions are. And I'm always like, kind of that, do you let them know or don't you let them know? And I guess you have to know your host, because if you choose not to eat something that they're serving, are they going to be offended? Or would they be like, think you're some kind of a diva because you're like, I'm not going to eat, sugar and carbs. But so it's always I think that's an interesting dance. I think, we have to take care of ourselves and do what's right for our bodies, and that to thy known self be true, number one. But maybe it's something where you can, you offer to bring your bread or your hummus and that kind of thing, so that's a safe bet. And then again, you get to trick people into like, oh, you really like that? There's no carbs in there or very little. So that might be, I guess my point is kind of, it sort of depends on the hostess that you're joining. But there's always, I think you can find things to eat that are going to be within your diet. But you might need to have your meal before you go to your holiday party so that you're full and you're not hungry and you're not tempted to cheat, So, and I think that's absolutely fine as well. Another thing, I'm curious about what you think about alcohol with the holidays, and like, because some alcohols can be super like sugary and carby. Like if you're doing wines and beers, the hard alcohol is okay on keto, but it can also, if it gets mixed with sugary stuff, not so much. So I'm curious as how it applies with the way you eat.
Mm-hmm. So for me personally, because I'm not a regular drinker of sugary drinks, like, the cocktails, those yummy cocktails, right?
Yeah.
And the wine. I mean, with wine, here and there with a meal sometimes, especially if it's maybe a social gathering. And wine is actually not as sugary as the cocktails
Right.
are.
Right.
The cocktails are definitely like way more sugary than, red wine. Red wine has the least amount of sugar, like the darker the red, the less sugar. So for me, when it comes to like a special, gathering, like the holidays, and if someone's serving yummy cocktails and they're making it, they're the ones, being the bartender for the night, then I say I'm all for it because it's a regular, ongoing thing, right? So
Sure.
my body will be able to recuperate because it's like, the next day I get home and you're not touching it again, for a very large amount of time, right? So for me, if it's like I'll splurge, like if it's a couple times a year for special occasions when it comes to
Yeah.
cocktails. Yeah, so I think it's totally fine because you're eating healthy for the rest of the year. You're not touching too much sugar. I think it's, for me anyways, I think it's fine.
Yeah. I enjoy a dirty martini, which is completely keto, but it has that savory, the savory element to it. And it's kind of elegant if you're carrying around a martini glass. Just don't do the cosmopolitans like you're saying. Those are high in sugar. Or opt for sparkling water and, with a, twist of lemon or something like that. If you're just not into, having the drink, there's certainly options from a carbohydrate perspective, low carb beers and low carb wines. I just think that sometimes the balance between the two is the taste just isn't. I always think of like, is it worth it to, for me to like have the experience of the taste versus how I might feel or how I might, how my body might respond to it. So I think, again, like everything, it's really being mindful, being, moderation, and then also tons of water if you're having any kind of alcohol, to make sure you're hydrating yourself so that your body doesn't miss the fluids that it so needs. But yeah, I think, it's the holidays. If you're celebrating, then enjoy and celebrate and have a good time. Just, again, know how to kind of counterbalance it and be responsible, obviously, when it comes to alcohol. But, I think as far as the holidays go, there's, again, like I had said, there's so many things that are available from like what I eat. You know, the charcuterie boards are huge right now, and they are 1000% keto for the most part. Some of the dried fruits are a little high in sugar, but it's like I'm so excited that it's cool to have those now. Now I just have to figure out how to do the display the right way, because they have such like fun ways to put all those things out, and I'm like, oh, I got to up my game. I got to get on Pinterest and up my game with some of that stuff. But you know, with the nuts and the cheese and the olives, and you know, it's just, and all the meats and things like that, it really is heaven for a keto eater. I don't know, what's one of your favorite hors d'oeuvres that you would recommend for the holidays?
Me, honestly, like I think it's like I like the, you know, like cold cut meats, you know, like
Mhm.
you just like grab a little toothpick and like pick what you want, and then, you know, put it on your plate. And if you want to mix it with some cheese, you can, you know what I mean? Kind of like arrange. Those are like really kind of just really simple, um, you know, hors d'oeuvres or charcuterie boards. Me personally, what I like it simple, and also like vegetables, love vegetables,
Yes.
you know, and then having the hummus in the middle where people can, you know, take a spoon and put some hummus in their plate and then dip their vegetables with the hummus. And of course, they want the lentil bread. The lentil bread is
Of
thick.
course.
And girls love lentil bread. You know, girls that are health, like, you know, wanting to stay away from sugar and such. And personally, I think it's delicious, and it is, and it gives you energy, and it's so fulfilling. You know, all the
Yes.
protein and iron that it gives you, and yeah, so, and fiber as well. And
Yes.
so yeah, I just bet you, like, you know, the celery sticks, the carrot sticks, love celery sticks. Um, you know, love fennel as well. It's kind of like a celery. It's got a bit of a different, it looks like celery, but it's got a bit of a different flavor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty much, and I love salads. So, you know, having chickpea, I love chickpea salads, and just your regular salad with, you know, the greens and your veggies. And I love making my own salad dressings, you know, just with the balsamic vinegar mixed with the olive oil. And then I'll like, you know,
Mm.
shake it up, and put some herbs in it, a little bit of, yeah, some herbs, and a little bit of, you know, sea salt. And then I'll mix it all up, and it just tastes so yummy. And you can put some, you know, nuts on the salad as well, and
So pretty.
or some
Yeah.
like dried cranberries. Um, and I just, and it's like an art, you know what I mean? It's really like
It
an art
is.
how you present the food on the table. And it's fun to kind of come up with different ways. And it's so fun to dress up your table pieces too, like having the candles, roses, you know, and particularly red roses is so kind of like festive because red is
Yes.
that Christmas color. And so, you know, and then having fun with your serving platters as well. You know, I particularly love like crystal serving platters because it's like it looks so pretty, and I'm very spiritual, so I love crystals as well. So I'm kind of like having that, you know, having the good vibes, you know, in, you know, sharing the good vibes in the home with everybody, and also having something really pretty to look at when you're serving your food on the crystal serving platters, and you having crystal cup coasters as well. They're so pretty. There's like rose quartz, having a rose quartz cup coaster and stuff like that. It's really fun. And you know, when you're prepping, you know, for your party, because it's like you get all excited, you know, what can I do to have everybody have fun, and coming up with games. Sometimes, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're so focused on kind of the food stuff, but there's so much the games and the presentation, music. There's like so many elements of celebrating the holiday season to focus on as well. And it makes it, you know, so if you get into the right mindset of, you know, the celebration and how to embrace the joy of the season, you're going to have a good time. And if you have all of those kind of elements wrapped around, the food, which is a key player, I understand, but making sure that that is all part of what you're thinking about and the experience that you're going to have, either going or hosting a holiday party. It's cool. And I think, your guests come away and they feel that energy, they feel that vibration raise. And especially if you're incorporating those crystals in, wow, they're going to be taking home a goodie bag that they don't even know. They're going to be like, that was so much fun.
I know, it's so much fun coming up with the goodie bags too.
Yeah. Yes.
It just feels great. It feels good to kind of give. You're creating that environment. I don't know. To me, it just always feels great to be able to create a happy environment for everybody to come and celebrate, and just kind of celebrate life. It's the end of the year, and
Well, and last year we were kind of shut in. And so this year I know there's always things that are evolving with COVID and all the viruses, but we do have more, we have more opportunity to be together and to celebrate more so than we did last year. And I think that's also something with our everyday lives. We think of all of the things to do for the holidays, and to focus on the gift of being able to, give someone a hug. Oh my God, I missed that so much. And this is the time to, to bring forward that joy and to celebrate and to appreciate where we're at. And then, evoke all of your senses in sharing that joy is really super powerful when you're thinking globally. I know we're talking a lot about food on this episode, but it's an experience, right? Eating is smelling and tasting. And you talk about the celery, that texture, that crunch is just so satisfying. I really am hungry right now, Rita. I really need to get something to eat. But I wanted to ask you, do you eat sweets at all, or do you just not? Because I don't do sugar, but I do use like monk fruit and some sugar alternatives that are natural, or stevia, that kind of a thing. Do you do that at all?
So I 100% like stevia all the way. I put stevia, of course, in my coffees and my herbal teas, in my oatmeal. Actually, I also use organic elderberry syrup that has no added sugar into my oatmeals on top of the stevia. It's so amazing in my oatmeals. And happybeingwell.com, of course, sells the organic, no sugar added elderberry syrup. And I just, love it. It boosts your immune system. It makes my oatmeal taste amazing. And it's not sugary because there's no sugar to it. It's natural sugar. And yeah, I do. If I want something sweet, I will have an apple. I don't make it a regular everyday practice to have like strawberries or blueberries. But if I do want something like particularly sweet, I will, I'll turn to some blueberries, some strawberries, but it's not like an everyday thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I do love too is like prickly pears. Is like
yes,
it's like better than water. It's got that watermelon type of feel and taste to it, but
yeah,
I think it's better than watermelon, And so I have prickly pears really do the trick for me if I really want something like sweet, right? Because our body is always kind of like going through ebbs and flows. Like we'll have we want some salty type of craving, or we need some more meat, like more protein. And if you're vegan, it's fine. We know that you can get protein from other sources. It doesn't have to be animal meat. So yeah, I just kind of go with what my body feels, and if I do want that sweetness, I turn to fruit.
that's really smart.
And
Yeah.
I do herbal teas in the evening with my herbal teas too. Like I have a strawberry herbal tea and I mix it with my almond my vanilla non-sweetened almond milk, and
Mhm.
my stevia, and it tastes like it's like dessert in a cup, honestly.
Dessert.
It's
Yes.
like
Yes.
some of
Yeah. I do. So I'm not probably as good as you, but I do have an amazing cheesecake recipe that is on the website, but it is so good. And the tip that I will give to you guys is if you're going to make that, don't use granulated like monk fruit or stevia. Use the confectioner's sugar. It blends really nicely and it adds a really nice texture to the cheesecake. And again, my mouth is watering, but it is so yummy and so pretty, and nobody can tell the difference. Nobody. I use the confectioner. Even I have chocolate chip cookies that I make too, and use that. I use the confectioner sugar. I've just found that to be such a better way for the sugar to infuse with whatever I'm making. So that would be my tip for sweets is to confectioner sugar. And right now it's pretty much available everywhere. You can go down the baking aisle and you can get, they have stevia brown sugar, which is yummy too. But again, it's a moderation thing. So the holidays are here. So I slip in some keto cookies, some chocolate chip cookies, and I never get complaints. So I would highly recommend that. And that was also one of the tips in the lemon loaf that I made. I used the confectioner version of the monk fruit. So I encourage people to do that as well. And also eat your fruits. If you don't want to have to hassle making anything, nature has prepackaged for you a nice sweet fix. So go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I also too love sautéing vegetables. I love to,
Oh,
just get a pan and put, you have some cooking oil rubbing on the pan before turning it on, and you add some water into the pan, then you start dipping like, mushrooms and
oh,
tomatoes and, you know, beans, some garlic, hot pepper, like red peppers, and I love red peppers, or like orange peppers, and just mix it all together, and it tastes like so yummy. And I love hot sauce. Like I'm literally like the poster girl for like that commercial for Frank's Red Hot Sauce, when that
yes,
old lady,
yes,
I put that on everything. I'm like,
yes.
I literally put hot sauce on everything, like even my egg white omelets in the morning. I put like avocados on it and hot sauce.
Mm.
I love herbs too. And I'll put the herbs on it and paprika, as I'm cooking the egg white omelet. I literally put hot sauce, literally like almost in everything, like, probably, yeah, pretty much everything. I don't think there's any, except for fruit or my teas.
Right. Well, you can do almost like the tahini stuff. I think that's okay if you want to enhance a fruit flavor. Where it takes a little bit of that spice. I know my daughter uses it on mangoes, and she loves it. And I used to think that's so counterintuitive, but then I tried it and I was like, oh, it does it. It enhances the flavor. Just often, like if you're using chocolate and you put coffee beans with it, it enhances that coffee flavor, which just seemed counterintuitive. And I would stay away from it, but now just a tiny bit if I'm making something with chocolate, unsweetened chocolate. And you can add your sweetener if you want to add some stevia or monk fruit. But yeah, for the holiday, there's a drizzle that's on that cheesecake that has that. So it's yummy. It's a good one. One of my favorites.
I'm gonna put cinnamon in my coffee sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great garnish.
Yummy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's so many ways to go to celebrate the holidays with based on whatever your dietary preferences are, or if you're on a particular diet that for health reasons, or I mean, I guess it's always for health reasons, right? We want to stay healthy, we want to keep our bodies well nourished and enjoy and continue to enjoy life. So but I think it's just kind of a mindset of recognizing that commitment to being healthy and to celebration, and to enjoy enjoy yourself during this time of the year. We're very blessed.
Yes, absolutely. And also too, happybeingwell.com, under the resources section, we do have an ebook on how to prep for the holiday gatherings as well. So everything that me and Nancy talked about and much more in terms of, how to make your goodie bags, your party favors, how to set up your tables, some suggestions on that, and some suggestions on how to make your home environment, happy and calm and relaxing as well before your guests arrive. And that's all there on happybeingwell.com. It is how to host a memorable holiday gathering. That is what the ebook.
Nice. Very cool. I will definitely check that out. Definitely. Thank you for the tip.
Yeah. I was working hard on that ebook and the plant-based ebook and all the other ebooks on happybeingwell.com to help people, thrive and be happier in life, and also, of course, enjoy the holiday season with your friends and family. And also in the how to host a memorable holiday gathering, there's some tips for people on how to include any members that can't join you in person, how to include your Zoom, how to include your laptops and get people on Zoom to include them into your in-person holiday gathering.
That's so smart. Thank you for doing that. I hadn't thought about that. That's great. That's great. Definitely going to get that ebook.
Yeah. And also too, happybeingwell.com is hosting a virtual happy hour for the holidays on December 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern, or I think it's 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I can't remember. I think it's 2 p.m. It's on the.
It would be 5 Eastern, right? And it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So have your cocktail.
Well, we won't be drinking cocktails, but it is a happy hour. But you can bring your cocktails if you want. It's like more like women coming together to discuss their goals at the end of the year and the New Year goals.
Nice.
And how to everyone collaborating on how to share tips and advice on how to achieve them. And then, since I have a background in hypnosis, at the end of it, I would curate customized hypnosis based on what everybody's saying on the happy hour. So at the end, so
that's amazing. Oh, how
fun! Goals, embed their goals into their subconscious mind.
I love that. Jeez, I need to do that. I need to think of my goals. I'm still in the holidays. What am I going to do January 1? That's another podcast, right?
I know. And it's literally like next, I can't believe it. I think it's this coming Tuesday, the virtual happy hour.
Yeah. Exciting.
All the details and the link is on happybeingwell.com under the resources tab, under the blog section where it says virtual happy hour. So people can log in to the Zoom link, copy and paste it through that web page, the virtual happy hour page, and we can all ensure that we hit our goals for the end of the year and for the beginning of the year. 2022 is what we're going to be ringing in a matter of literally almost 30 days, which is crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy, but look at how far we've come this year, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're no longer locked down. We're free. So let's see what 2022 will look like and what we'll bring in for 2022. So
absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Me too. So Nancy, thank you so much for being here and sharing with our audience and how to meal prep and tips and advice for their holiday gatherings. And so enjoy your holiday season. And
Thank you so much, Rita, for having me. I love coming on the show and sharing ideas. And it's always such a good vibrational lift when I get to speak with you.
same here. Always. You're always
Awesome.
super and happy and in a high vibe. Always, always. So we love
Thank
having
you.
you on the Happy Being Well podcast.
Thank you.
So until next time, guys, enjoy your day, evening, whatever time you're tuning into this episode. And if you like this podcast, subscribe so that you won't miss another one. So happy being well, everybody.